actually. Yeah. All right. Well, I will have a brief introduction then. So over the course of probably 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to go through various topics to improve your Shyvana gameplay. Uh, more than likely, I'll get you to use the build that I'm using in order to just make it easier. Uh, Everyone here is around gold 1 to plat-ish. I mean, unranked, but they've been playing for a long time. So everyone is around the same skill level, so that means that I can teach everyone around the same speed. Um, Now, the concepts that we'll be going over is clearing, first clearing, which is very important, and that's what we're going to be doing today actually. Uh, and on Wednesday, uh, I will start testing people to see if they can clear under a certain amount of time. So I've posted some videos which you guys can study from, but I will be going over it today as well, obviously, so you can watch it live, ask questions, and whatnot. Um, Later on, we're going to be working on something called anti-vision or anti-vision, um, and it's not exactly what you think. So anti-vision meaning playing with I mean I could probably call it something different, but essentially it's playing with the mindset that you're not using vision. You're you're assuming things and then watching to see what happens. So an example of that would be you do dragon without clearing the vision, but you're watching the mid and bot to see what they do. And whether they move or not will tell you if they have vision or not. So that's essentially what anti-vision is meaning in in this context. Uh, the third thing is something called kill points. Kill points, I believe, is something I made up. Probably another term for it as well, but I'm just going to be calling it kill points for the sake of the teaching. Um, and what those are uh, points that you'll be sitting with your ultimate up that you're able to jump over the wall and either hit your ultimate or get into a position where you can get some quick kills. So there are multiple kill points in the game. None of them are like always consistent because there's wards. So you have to be able to discover kill points during the game, uh, not just going to default ones. So that's the goal of that. Um, the next thing is sacrificing. So what I mean by that is, and it's actually something we'll be going a little bit over today. Uh, let's say you are in your first clear with Shyvana, you do 3 camps, and your top lane dies, does not have teleport, and the enemy top laner is at 20% HP. Well, one of the things that we'll be going over is when to and when not to go and stop farming to go and potentially go for a kill there. But in that scenario specifically, you would be just leaving top, completely ignoring top, and you would be finishing your clear. Because if you go top lane, you're creating an inconsistency and you're taking a risk where it's not a guaranteed kill. Because you don't have ultimate, you may have flash, but there's not any significant advantage to going top. Whereas if you just continue clearing, it's a consistent lead that you can get. And another example of that would be if you don't have ultimate up, the enemy team is on Baron, or Dragon, I guess. We'll go with Dragon for this example. So the enemy team is on Dragon, you don't have ultimate up, and your team wants to fight. you are going to ping them off because you're not going to win that fight 9 out of 10 times without your ultimate up, especially when you're playing AP. So that would be another scenario where you just ignore it and go find something that will give you a consistent lead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so um, again, this is just an overview. I'm not expecting you to remember any of this, but um, I'm just going over everything that we will eventually talk about in detail. So the next thing, second last thing, is something called lethals, which you probably have heard the term before. If not, it just means when you can one-shot someone or when you have the opportunity to execute someone. Um, you need to know your damage very well, uh, and that takes practice. But um, honestly, you can sort of just glance at their HP, glance at their MR, and that's all you have to know. They could have a lot of HP, but if you have enough AP, it doesn't really make a difference. Um, it's we'll have to go into more detail about that, but um, one example of lethals is or is knowing lethals is if you are 0-1, but you have uh, level 6 and Sork Shoes and a Hextech Alternator. The enemy bot lane is 5-0 with maybe an entire item almost. It doesn't matter if they're full HP, you can still one-shot them if you land your ultimate. And that is a very important concept because in order to play this build, this play style, you have to know when you can kill people, even if they seemingly are far ahead of everyone else. You can still kill people. Like you have a lot of damage, but you have to know your kill points, which is why we go over that first. Because once you have a kill point, it means you can just kind of wait for them to walk to you and then you can use your knowledge of lethals to one-shot them. And then the last thing we will be going over is macro plays, which is just sort of general macro, but we won't go into too much detail about that because that takes ages to teach. And that is not really something you can teach in one coaching session. That's something that comes with a lot of time, a lot of practice. Uh, With that, do you have any general questions so far?
Yeah, just one thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
about your build.
Yeah, what's up?
Because I realized you aren't going for Nashers. Is there
Yes.
a particular reason why? Because in my opinion, it feels like it just makes the clear so much faster.
I am glad you asked, actually, because that is something I talked about yesterday. And I don't know if you know this, but I made an entire Reddit post on why Nashers is bad.
I think I
Um,
saw it, but
so yeah, but no, no, I'll repeat it. So Nashers itself isn't bad, but Nashers on AP Shyvana, like, as in, like, only AP Shyvana is bad because uh well, first of all, let me tell the advantages of Nashers because you know this already, right? So, first of all, you clear faster. Yes. You do clear faster with Nashers early. However,
Mhm.
it doesn't really make a difference later because when you have enough AP, your Q will deal more damage, your E will deal more damage, and you'll like one shot camps later. It doesn't really matter. Like you might have to be a little more precise with like when you clear without Nashers because everything matters when you're not auto attacking.
Mhm.
So you have to hit like all the raptors every time, all the wolves every time, that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, you don't actually clear faster uh, later on, like without Nashers. It doesn't really make a difference, and you can
Uh-huh.
see that if you just look at like CS per minute on in any of my games. Like my past 3 games, I think I went like 8.5 CS per minute or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can't get high CS per minute. It's just it's deceiving. It's like on paper it looks good, right?
Okay, yeah.
But um the other reason people think Nashor's is good is because they're like, okay, I'll get my ultimate up faster because I'm auto attacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You actually, so that is one of the the most deceiving things about Nashor's too. You auto attack faster, yes, but you also do on hit damage every single auto attack.
Oh, and you deal more damage
That's right.
to
So you
okay, and
do
you
you
kill the creeps first.
yes, you kill the camp
Oh, okay.
before, so you'll actually do less autos on the camp. Even if you just use your Q and autos, you'll kill the camp, you'll have less auto attacks done, and your ultimate will be up no faster than if you just like used your abilities without Nashor's Tooth. Um, However, the advantage to going full AP is that you can use your auto and Q and not kill it, so you have enough like time. Like you're weak, but it's like a you're using the weakness to your advantage because you're able to auto attack more and get your ultimate up off a single camp even instead of two,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is a very important thing in mid game sometimes. Like maybe your mid took your wolves and you only have a Gromp for dragon. If you're at 30% fury, you can get your ult up. Might take a little bit,
Okay.
but you'll get it off of one camp.
Okay. 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 Never thought about it this way, actually.
Yeah. So um, now, Nashor's is good on both in paper and in game for uh, objectives. It's very good at killing Rift, Dragon, turrets, you name it. Any objective it's really good at getting.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the reason I buy Nashor's as a sixth item. I would sell my boots and buy Nashor's because
Okay.
the goal in League is to end the game by killing
Mm-hmm.
objectives. So if you're if you have like 5 items of all burst damage, like the last thing you need is more burst damage if you want to just end the game, right? If you're
Yeah. Yeah,
already
sure.
one-shotting people, you don't need any more damage, so you just buy Nashers and go and end the game, pretty much. And you can do
Okay.
that
Okay.
like without minions even. If you have, I think it's 6 items, uh, including Nashers and a blue pot. You can end the game with no minions, like both turrets.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's also a very important thing to know, but that's part of macro. uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so, but no, the real reason I don't buy Nashers is actually even earlier on. Uh, it's because you have less damage. So
Yeah.
you
I mean,
spend
it still gives the 100 AP, but you're missing like the the passive of the alternator and stuff like that, right?
well, not
Or
not quite actually. Let me explain. So it
mm-hmm.
takes uh, how much is Nashor's Tooth again? 3K?
3.2k.
Oh my god, it's even worse. Okay.
It's the same as
uh,
Night Harvester.
okay, so it's 6,400 gold for Nashor's and Night Harvester, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get 190 AP.
Yeah.
Okay. Night Harvester and 2 large rods are 6,000 gold, and you get, and a Dark Seal as well, are 6,000 gold, and you get at the very least 225 AP. That's
Okay. Yeah.
that's if you have 0 Dark Seal stacks. Let's say you have
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, 2, 3. That's like 235, 240 Dark Seal stacks, or I mean AP. Um, and it doesn't seem like a big difference. It's like 30 to 40 AP difference. However, your E ratio is 120%. So what that means is that your E with Nashers and Night Harvester will deal about like 228 damage, and your
Mm-hmm.
E from the full AP build will do 282 damage.
Okay, that's
It's a big difference,
especially in
right?
the early, it's a big
And
difference.
that's not even two items yet with the AP build. That's just
Mm-hmm.
two large rods, and that's less gold as well.
But with the build, you're like more dependent on your yield, right? Because when I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
if I have Nashes and I don't know, I'm standing in Tribush or something like that, and I know that whatever enemy Jarvan or something is running towards that bush, I know that I can like with E auto Q I can take about 50 to 60% of his health. Like will
So
I
yes,
will miss that without Nasher, right?
uh,
Uh,
not really. You'll do just as much damage because your E will deal more damage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's like
Okay.
it's deceiving, like I said. Like on
Mm-hmm.
paper it looks really good, and when you can auto attack people, it's also really good. However, in most games, when you start to get higher elo, like D4-ish, uh, actually even earlier than that, probably around plot 2, um, you won't be able to just walk up to people and auto attack them anymore for free. And in
Mm-hmm.
team fights in a 5v5, there's no way you're doing that for free. So the whole design of this playstyle is all about assassinating people, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I have kill points. Because if you can have a kill point, that means they can't react to you, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to do at least your R or your E damage, which is like your R has a bigger AP ratio than your E. So
Yeah.
um, like either or is going to do more than half their HP if they're an ADC
Mm-hmm.
support or mid, or
Is
anyone
it in
who's
in your opinion, is it worth it to like in let's say if 4v4 team fight, is it worth it to ult into the fight to get that extra ult damage, or but maybe like die in the fight, or is it like do you think it's more can you
so
get more out of your champion by ulting basically staying in the same place and just firing E after E after E?
okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Actually,
Oh, okay, sorry.
that's
Sorry.
part of okay. So that's part of lethals, and I will explain that as well. I'll answer your
Okay, okay, okay.
question though. So essentially, there's a rule, okay, and
Mhm.
if they're at half HP, you can use your ultimate as a dash to use your fireball. However, if they're
Okay.
above half HP, you have to hit them with your ultimate in order to kill them.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
that's the general rule that you should follow. If they're not
Mhm.
at half HP, don't use your ultimate as a dash. Use it as damage, which means don't uh don't just randomly ult into a fight. You're gonna want to line yourself up to a kill point in order to hit your ultimate better.
Okay, okay.
I do have a question.
Sure. What's up?
So is your build first full legendary or mythic item? Is it Night Harvester first item?
It is.
Okay, so then you do even more burst damage with your first item because it's the Night Harvester passive, right?
Well, right, but you don't even need Night Harvester to see the damage effect happen because Hextech Alternator is enough to have the burst. And realistically at level 6, you're only gonna have Sorks and uh Sorks, Darkseal, and an Amptome usually. You don't even have Hextech Alternator,
Okay.
but uh let's say you do just for the point's sake. Yes, you will do a lot more damage, probably around 400 with your E at like level 7 with a Hextech Alternator and Sork Shoes. Um, whereas, and also this is with the sudden impact Dark Harvest rune page. If you go first strike, you're gonna do like 270 damage with the same build, maybe like 300 with the same build,
Yeah.
because the extra magic pen is huge. It's huge. It's an extra 9% damage by itself. Early, anyway. So,
Cool.
alright, so anyway, what I wanted to go over today is speed clearing, or just initial clearing, okay? So, I'm gonna go to a practice tool, and I want to show you the first thing I do every single game. Now, if you don't have the ruined skin, I recommend getting it because not even because of uh, just the way it looks, but it's the way it sounds. So essentially, ruined has a very distinct hitting sound when you hit your E, your fire or flame breath. So I'll show you what I mean, right? So also the first thing I do every game is I walk up here along this line so that they don't have any vision of you. And then I throw my E into this bush and walk away. Okay? And then obviously the reason is to check if anyone's there. If someone is there, this is what it sounds like. Right? Very distinct, like you feel the hit almost with that sound. So if someone's there, what you would do is you would just like walk away and ward there or something. But if they're not there, then I would walk up here and then ward this as I'm backing. And the goal is to know where the enemy jungler starts. That is the most important thing in the game for Shyvana early, is to know where the enemy jungler is going. Because if he is starting bot side, that means that there could be a chance he invades you, or even better, he just goes top, which is really good because right now the meta is to just path bot because you can get a free double kill at this kill point right here. Where's teleport? Right here. This is one of the kill points, by the way, because you can cast your ultimate all the way over here and reach your E anywhere in this vicinity. So because of, and it's like very hard to get vision at this point unless this is warded. But essentially that's one of the main reasons you go bot. The other reason is the dragon, obviously. And also right now the dragons are the current meta. You get dragons, you like essentially just win the game. Rift is less valuable, um, but if the enemy jungler does take Rift, like you can just get kills bot lane. It's very easy to get kills bot lane with AP Shiv, especially with like Hextech Alternator. This item first, like you do at least half their HP with one ability. So also I don't know who joined, but welcome. Um, Anyway, do you guys have any questions so far about what I just said?
Just one thing, and it's again about items. Are you always getting red jungle pet or?
No, actually. I was until I started facing Ivern. And then I realized something. So this percent max health true damage does not work very well against someone who can shield themselves, right? So with against Ivern, or actually even against teams with shields, I would take the blue pet because you want to be able to get to uh, places faster so that you can line up to do damage without them seeing you. Because the moment they shield, you've essentially lost the opportunity to burst them. But if you can get somewhere without them seeing you, you can have a chance to burst them. Whereas if you have this, they might see you, and then they'll just shield themselves, and then this pad is useless, right?
Mm-hmm. And is there like do you get like green pet at any games or like
No, I don't get
is
green pet
the
at any point.
okay?
And
Do you go?
oh, go
My
ahead.
bad. Do you go Nasher's tooth or Night Harvester first?
Okay. So just went over this. Actually, you know what? I will send you this post to read. I posted about exactly what you just asked.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
just so I can move on a little bit, because I did go over it, so you can watch this back after.
All right, bet for sure.
I did also have a question.
Oh sure. What's up?
Do you always start top and then path bot? Is there any game where you start bot side?
No.
All right.
Now there's a trick I do though. If I ever have to start bot, let's say because I'm not going to get to the top side in time or like I'm low HP, I would actually start bot, but then immediately go to the top buff and reverse clear. Because that way my camps are respawning in the same direction.
They are nothing before me.
Do you guys know why it's
Could you repeat
important?
what you just said?
Okay. So if I'm at low HP, right? Let's say we had a bad level 1 invade. I'm at half HP, right? And I won't make it to top before the buff spawns. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is go, let's say here, right? I'll get a leash here, and then I will walk all the way to blue buff. Okay? And once I go to blue buff, I will do exactly what I would do if it was a full clear if I started from blue. So I'd go blue, gromp, wolves, downward. Even though I started red, and your time won't be wasted because the crabs still won't be up by the time you're done this. As long as you're fast enough, which is why I want to test you guys, because I want you guys to be fast. And the purpose is so that these camps are respawning in the same direction. Okay? So I can even show you that right now. I'll show you an example of that. I forgot to buy items, so that's awkward, but okay. So yeah, I'll show you exactly like visual representation so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is leashless as well. Usually you get a leash if you're starting bot, of course. And I use my pot right away. Because there's no real optimal place to use your potion as Shiv. Because you're reverse clearing, the speed of it doesn't matter as much as if you were doing the other one. The whole point of this is to just make sure that your camps are respawning in the same direction. Which is bot lane, or 2 bot. So like it's kind of rough. It's about 330, but if you had a leash, it would be you'd get here like 325, 324 type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's what I'm trying to point out is it's feasible to do this even like if you have to. Obviously this was leashless, so it's a little bit slower, but it's still a good move because you always want your camps to respawn downward. Now, I don't know if you can make out the minimap, but you can actually see the timers of when they'll respawn. There's 33 seconds left, 50 seconds left, a minute and 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you use a program that tracks timers. I recommend it. It's actually recommended by Riot, funny enough. Uh, and your camps should always look like this in the game. If you're ganking a lane, your camps should always be down like this in
Mm-hmm.
9 out of 10 times. And they should always be respawning in the same direction. Even if at some point in the game you have to reverse the direction of the camps, like let's say you're fighting a dragon, you die, your camps all respawn and the Baron is respawning. Well, in that case, you're not going to go or top to bot, right? You're going to go
Mm.
bot to top. But that means that when you reset again, you're going to have to start here. You can't go top, you have to start here because you've set your direction of where your camps are respawning. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I did have one question.
Sure.
Could you do that same reverse clear that you just did, like starting red and then going to blue if you think the enemy jungler is like a Warwick or something and it's going to invade your top side?
Yeah, actually, that's the original purpose of the reverse clear. To stop someone from like Warwick Lee Sin, I used to have trouble with, like in low diamond. Uh, he would always try to take my blue, so I would always do red, blue, gromp. And even if they jump over, that means that they're only gonna have 2 camps, and you can kind of just walk away or fight them here and then walk, and then your top laner will come down. All of a sudden, they're in a very vulnerable position with only 2 camps cleared, right? And they're wasting a lot of time staying over here because they're essentially fighting a neutral objective at this point, not uh, a free objective where you can just walk over here, continue farming. Even if they get the Gromp, you will have free farm while they have to walk all the way back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
So I always try to cheese the drag like as soon as it spawns, pretty much, because Shyvana can like level 4 Shyvana AP can clear a drag in like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And so normally I'm always trying to like be there whenever the dragon spawns or like right after it spawns. Is that something you always go for too?
So I'll tell you what, that's something that I used to go for, but I do not go for that anymore. And the reason is because I've discovered that taking a dragon early is good. However, if the enemy jungler is just farming permanently, they will be stronger than you if you do something like this. Whereas if you are just farming downward, which goes towards the dragon, when the
Yeah.
dragon respawns and you finish a clear, all of a sudden you're not wasting time anymore. You're not sacrificing time, like your tempo is what it's called,
Yeah.
right?
So with the clear that you just showed us, right?
Yeah.
Since it's going downwards, right? By the time your camps respawn and you do your clear again, that's when. So say you do your clear one more time, right? Are you level 6 by the time you're doing drag?
You're level 5 and a little bit. Assuming you get a crab as well, you're level 5. You're like, if this was level 5, that's how much XP you'd have.
Gotcha.
Okay, so um, it's actually like yes, you want to rush dragons, but it shouldn't be your top priority. Your top priority should be your gold income and your clearing and how fast you can get to level 6 because sure you can cheese the early dragon, but that's not going to work as soon as you hit like high plat or even low plat sometimes. Like
Yeah.
like the enemy junglers are doing some wild stuff. They might even just see Shyvana and say, okay, they're gonna go to the dragon early. But what happens
Yeah.
if you're just clearing and they're sitting here doing nothing, right? They're gonna be
Mhm.
expecting you to be here, you're not. You're farming, you're gonna be level 5, they're gonna be level 4. They have to go back farming, and now you have an advantage on the dragon because you're a level
Yeah.
up. So it's all about slow, consistent ways to increase your power, I guess, overall. And if you take
Mm.
risky plays like this cheese and you're sacrificing your camps, then over the course of the game, those small things will add up just the same as if you were to clear consistently. You'll get consistently weaker instead, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Mm. Interesting.
yeah, and you
Uh,
can cheese the dragon, by the way. But what's your question?
oh, I was gonna say. So you said that the first thing you do is go over and E into that bush and then ward, depending on if they're there or not.
Yes.
So after you ward, do you back and then buy Oracle, or do you keep the yellow trinket?
Usually I back and buy Oracle.
All right.
However, if someone is here, and I have to ward here, and the purpose I ward here is so that as I walk away, I want to see if they pop out, because you want to see who was actually in there. If they don't pop out, uh, you're just warding this to make sure that they don't come over here. Uh, and if you're on the opposite side, sometimes it's too risky to walk over here. Maybe it's a Graves and a Pantheon top. That's way too risky to walk over. Like you'll just get bursted, right? So I would actually ward here and then back and buy Oracle. Because usually Graves and Pantheon would walk up here. And then
All
you can
right.
see them that way.
So
So
if
this
you
is a
ward the
defensive ward.
gotcha. If you ward the entrance to the river right there and you start reverse clearing, right? So you start at your red, bot side red, and then you're gonna start reverse clearing. But you see from your ward that they're gonna like invade your jungle and take your blue. Would you go to try to contest that, or would you just go and try to get their blue instead?
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me that again. So
No, you're good. So like basically the clear you just showed us, right? How you're starting red and then you're gonna go straight to blue.
yes.
So say you got your red right, and then you're on your way to blue, but you see from your vision that the enemy jungler is invading your blue. Would you go try to contest it, or would you just go to their blue instead?
Depends on who it is.
Hmm. I see what you mean.
If it's I mean, personally, I would contest it, but only because I can, like, essentially what's gonna be happening is you're gonna get over here, right? There's gonna be a blasting plant. If you do this absolutely perfect, I don't even know how to do this. They won't see you at all. I don't know. I don't know if
Oh,
you knew that, but
I don't know.
if you
No.
do that just like I just did, they won't see you because you're out of vision the whole time. Even though it kind of looked like it. But the
Mm,
blue, you didn't see the blue until you landed, right? So it's the
yeah.
same thing, but just on your end. So in that case, you'll have a mini advantage. So you'll have your E and W usually, and they'll be pulling your blue here. So you can fight them, uh, but it it just depends on how confident you are in your
Gotcha.
ability. Okay. If you hit
All
your
right.
E and you just walk up to them and hold W, you'll actually beat them, probably. It doesn't take much to kill people at level 2.
Mm.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
So if you did try and contest that, would you want to try and smite the blue from under them and then fight them, or would you want to fight them before the camp's dead?
Well, okay, if you're doing a reverse clear, you'll probably have smite, yes. So, in that case, again, it depends on your confidence level. If you want to just smite the blue, you can. If you want to fight them instead, because they'll be taking damage from blue, so they'll be lower than you, for sure. They'll be lower than you. And they may not even have smite because, remember, they started the red and they walked over. So, usually people smite their buff now. So he may not even have smite. So like you can fight him and smite the blue, right?
Yeah.
It really depends. It's if you're not confident, yes, you can just wait until you can smite the blue, and then he either walks away or tries to fight you, and then in that case, you can run away, but you'll heal off the blue. So it depends on who you're facing, right?
Mm.
But essentially, the point is to keep your clears in a straight line. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if it's bot to top or top to bot, preferably top to bot, but if you have to make it bot to top, it's fine. You can reverse that later in the game. But it
If
just
your top is like inting, right? Yeah.
actually no.
That's what they
Usually
say. Like I've heard people say, don't help a losing lane, and I normally try
it's
to practice that, but I'm not sure.
so you don't help a losing lane if they're top. You do help a
Uh,
losing lane if they're bot because they're weak and you can one-shot them. It's actually better if you're bot ints sometimes because you can just get bounty gold off of them.
nice.
Uh, so it's and in mid as well. They can be behind and you can also gank. Top is the absolute hardest lane to gank if they're behind.
Mm.
Because top laners are full of bruisers with kits with like self-sustain, dashes, you name it. Mid laners usually don't have dashes, they just have ways of, well, I guess they have dashes, but they have like less reliability than a top laner.
More vulnerable, yeah.
Yeah, they're more vulnerable, squishier, you know. And then bot lane usually has no mobility at all early, so that's why it doesn't really matter if they int, because you can, this kill point, again, very important, you can just ult over the wall and then one-shot them. Or do enough
Mm.
damage to just kill them, you know? Okay, so, um, I did post some clears already, uh, a while back. It was in useful videos. So those clears are both starting topside, which is what you should be doing, um, and they're both exactly 316 without a leash.
Gotcha.
So I recommend practicing those. I'm going to be testing you guys based on what rank you currently are. So if you are platinum, I'm going to be slightly harsher than if you're gold. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, However, if you're like plat 4 and gold 1, but your goal is both D4, I will be rating you the same. Or grading you the same, I guess.
Gotcha.
Which clear are you testing? Are you testing both of them?
I'm gonna be testing. Uh, I actually didn't really care which one you do because both of them should be the same time. But in this case, honestly, I'll just do the one that you prefer.
All right.
Um, which one do you prefer out of those two?
I prefer. Uh, I don't know actually. Maybe red. Uh, maybe red clear. But um, what I'm gonna do now is go over each camp with you guys, okay? I'll try to do both
They are
sides.
nothing before me.
Uh, I'll start with red side, starting top, because that's probably one that people are most unfamiliar with, maybe.
Mhm. Um, question. So I'm looking at your clear pass like pictures, right?
Yeah,
And for your reverse clear start top, right?
yeah.
Uh, that's that. You know how you're talking about your straight line, right? That's pathing towards top, though, right?
Uh,
Are your camps still going to be resetting like downwards?
so the goal is to make them respawn from top lane to bot lane. So if you're
Yeah,
killing Krugs first, it's going to be respawning first.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but on the reverse clear start top, right? You go blue and then Raptors, red, Krugs.
Uh,
I'm trying to follow the arrow you got.
oh, yeah, no, the reverse clear is something completely different.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Uh, yeah, actually, um, I should delete that one because it should be the opposite. I was sort of
Yeah, that's what
just
I was thinking. Start it.
yeah, I was sort of just making the point of a reverse clear, um, in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the normal reverse clear is the red and then blue. Yeah,
yeah.
got you. For sure.
So the red buff, you auto 3 times exactly. I mean, there's like a sequence of autos that you do, but if you're doing it leashless, you don't actually use your E twice, because you have your E right away at here, and then you'll notice that my E will come up at the exact same time that I can kill both of these camps. I don't know what happened with that Krug, but so I don't have my E here, so what I'm gonna do is S click and line them up so that I can hit my E on everything. Because you have red buff, that's gonna burn as well. Can do that as well. I don't know if I did that in the clear, but it's like a little thing you can do to make it a little bit faster.
If you're able to like output a clear this fast without leash, right, and still get there before scuttle, do you in like your games even ask for leash, or do you tell them no leash?
Uh, I usually tell them no leash actually, because uh, if you don't get a leash, they don't know where you started,
Yeah.
which is also good. I'd also, yeah, I pretty much just sit here and wait for the crab to spawn while I'm looking at mid and bot lane, because
Mm-hmm.
I want to find out where the jungler really is. That's your goal, right?
Would
So
would it be beneficial? So say you're starting blue, right? Or starting top
yeah,
blue. There you go.
yeah,
And then you do, blue Gromp and then Wolves, Raptor, Red, Krugs. But you ask your bot lane to fake leash, right? So they think you're starting bot. Is that even beneficial at all? Because I know I've started top sometimes, and I'll tell like my bot like, "Hey yo, like fake leash," or like just wait
yeah.
into the
No,
bush.
it's actually something that even I do sometimes. But it's like it it it's not really necessary. Um,
Yeah.
it's because as long as they don't know where you are, like if bot and top don't leash, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
top can leash though. It's just a little bit more difficult because they know where you're going, so they might contest the crop. Um, so uh, but yeah, I think that everyone here should be able to get a clear of 320 or below.
Gotcha.
One thing, do you always use both smites for the clear, or because I
Yes,
sometimes
I do.
keep one for crab fights?
So I do use both smites, and the reason is because you should be pathing towards, I mean, like, with how fast you're clearing, like, I'm able to do 315, that one was, uh, with no leash at all. If I did have a leash, it'd be like 311, which means that you'll get here, like, let's say the enemy jungler is here, and you'll just be able to stand here and provide pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do
Because
anything, you can just stand here, and then he might think you have smite, and he'll walk away. But the thing about the crab is that it's so weak that you can kill it without smite very fast. It's like very, very fast, really. You don't need smite to kill this. Um, Especially if they are standing here and the crab is pathing this way, and you're autoing
Hmm.
it while it's walking this way, there's no way they're going to be able to get to you before you kill
mm-hmm.
the crab. And if they flash smite it, it's like, okay, well, let me just go to the other crab, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually, like sometimes it's even better for them to path towards you, because if you do to get to the crab first, which, I mean, in gold elo, usually you do get to the crab first if you clear this fast, uh, then you can do crab to crab. And then you have 32 CS, and they have 24. And then your camps will respawn, uh, and you can actually have the option of not even backing, you can just go back to clearing again. You'll be at like full HP as well.
But if you do, um, like scuttle to scuttle, right?
Yes.
You'll have to walk all the way back up to your Krug, or not to your Krug, to your Gromp.
So, well no actually, because remember, you started top, right? You did a full circle. You
Yeah.
started top, you went to this crab, you you did both crabs, and now you can just walk back here and this
Oh, wait,
respawns.
wait, wait, wait. You're right. You're right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I see.
And then, if you do another full clear, you'll be at like level 5 with this much XP. Ish. Like,
Almost level 6.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, and the reason you would do that at all is because it's all about tempo. If you can clear that fast, and then just reset, and then go to the dragon, you'll have like so many more items than the enemy jungler.
Hmm. And if you have almost level 6 at that point, like what I'll do is I'll just walk into lane almost like I have level 6, and then just gank because I know that I'm about to get level 6 from the minions dying.
Well, I don't think you're that close, actually. It would take like an entire wave solo to get you to level 6
Uh,
still.
uh,
But killing the dragon would get you to level 6 for sure.
oh,
So
okay.
that's what your goal should be. You should be like making sure, well actually you don't even need to make sure it's safe. All you have to do is know where the enemy jungler is. So
Yeah.
if he is, if he path this way, it's like a guaranteed you can start this. If he path bot, um, you can still start it actually, because it's funny. What you could do is you can sacrifice bot lane. They'll probably get ganked. Then you just
Mm,
do the dragon while they're getting ganked, and then whether or not they die, it doesn't really matter. You'll be level 6. No one here will be level 6. Because
yeah.
remember, you did, in this scenario, you did both crabs, and then another clear, and then reset. So
Yeah.
you'll be level 6, everyone here will be level 5, probably not full HP, and then at
Yeah.
that point it's all about lethals, where you can, who can you kill, how do you prioritize which person to target, stuff like that. But uh yeah, that's a topic for a later day. Right now I
Yeah.
just want to focus on the clearing. So are there any questions you guys have about any specific camp?
Yeah, one thing when I'm doing a leashless blue start, yeah,
Okay.
I personally go and smite the Gromp. Is it like to basically to pull it while I'm finishing blue buff? Is that like a bad idea, or should I just smite blue to?
It's a bad idea because you don't have to smite to pull. Watch this. So I know I'm not level 1 or whatever, but it's the same
Mhm.
concept.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna restart that.
Yeah,
But
there's a weird bug with the jungle pets. I think it's 2 patches old now. That they just attack random camps you're near.
that's essentially what you're abusing though. Okay. Essentially, the point is you're pulling this over when it's about 600
Mhm.
HP, and then when you're standing like here, it will pull the Gromp for you.
And then you
Okay.
smite blue.
Like your pet will attack Gromp. You don't have to
It's
kill this. Uh,
do you
you
like
don't have to
know the
smite this.
reason for it that the pet
It's,
changes
I
dagger or?
mean, no, I think it's a bug, honestly, but it's funny because if I,
I think it also works on like crab and
yeah,
rift herald, right?
yes, I was about to mention that one too. So you can actually cancel the Rift Herald dash altogether. Let me show this. I want to figure out where this is going to respawn. It's respawning top. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, we'll move this over here. And it did it. I think? No? Okay. Yeah, there we go. See? Completely cancelled the Herald Dash. There's no Herald Dash at all.
Just from your jungle pet?
Yeah, just from the jungle pet autoing it.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I figured that out by accident, but it works on blue and Gromp as well. I'll try to do it again. So I really want to show this example.
And then you would like
Yeah, there,
smite
like that.
blue. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, like that. So then, that way you've pulled the Gromp uh, enough so that when you pull it one last time, it's at the very edge. But I think I do that in the clear video. No? Let me check.
I think I only watched the red side one.
Uh oh, maybe I didn't. Let me see. I think it happened before it hit the E, but it was like unintentional. But I mean, honestly, it's not consistent, and it might get patched. So I wouldn't like try to attempt it. Honestly, it's like a little gimmick that you can do. But I mean, in the video, the bleachless blue is just smite the blue while taking it out of the range, and then you're gonna kill it before it resets. So. So, actually, what I want you guys to do is, if you are able, try to send a clip of you guys doing a leashless clear from top to bottom, and you can pick which side you want.
Gotcha.
But I want you to send just the. Actually, you know what? Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, send your fastest clear that you can do. Okay.
Is there a way that we can like clip it through the League client, or do we have to download like an outside app?
No, yeah. The League client records all your custom games, so you can
Oh,
just
okay.
clear and
You can
then
go back and
go
replay it.
back and watch. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I want you guys to do that. Do your fastest clear and then send it. In I mean, you could just DM me, honestly, unless you wanted to post it. It doesn't really matter, as long as I am able to see it. And then you can ask me any questions that way. And then on Wednesday, I will be testing you live, so not recorded. Okay. But
Oh
I want to
snap!
see you do it again, but in I guess under pressure, right?
Gotcha.
All right. So I think that's pretty much it for today. Do you guys have any questions? Last questions?
No questions. I think you covered it, big dog.
All right.
Yeah.